Hello, my name is Erwin Eisenstein. I'm 75 years old. I have an MBA in computer science, and at age 60, I decided to go to law school. So I retired a little early and went to law school here in Florida. When I was about 68, I took and passed the Florida bar, and when I was 69, I took and passed the New York bar. Now, it took almost 3.5 years for each of those bars to interview me, and I was rejected on character and fitness. I'm not a bank robber, but what I did is I went through a nasty divorce, and during that divorce I had an opportunity to sue several lawyers and also several judges. And that's another story that I can talk about at a later time. But what I found was that the court systems themselves are corrupt. They don't follow rules of professional conduct, and in many cases, if they want to keep you out of the bar, they will do it in any way they can. The person who prosecuted me, Robert Blythe, is now retired, but I can say he misstated information. He was told later that he misstated with specific transcripts and information. He didn't report that to the Florida Board of Bar Examiners, and by doing so, he violated several rules of professional conduct. But that's neither here nor there, because he's allowed to do that if he's prosecuting. I don't understand it. He's not allowed, or he is allowed, to violate rules of professional conduct. I'm going to start a series of topics, and if you have something you'd like me to talk about, you can email me at ironstone44@gmail.com. I wanted to talk about insurance companies and auto insurance companies specifically, although it appears they're not the only ones who do things that appear not to be right. And the lawyers that they have don't really regard the rules of professional conduct. In fact, I believe they help their clients, large insurance companies, violate those rules. Now, I was talking to a friend of mine who has something called UIM and UM coverage. That's uninsured motorists coverage and underinsured motorists coverage. And that's supposed to require that your insurance company pays you money if the person who was involved in the accident doesn't have enough insurance, which is another story because lots of people can't afford the high rates of insurance and they're underinsured. In any case, there's a book called Good Hands to Boxing Gloves, and another one called Deny, Delay, and Defend, which both talk about Allstate. My friend doesn't have Allstate. She has Farmers Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. She has Florida Farm Bureau Insurance, and they've done everything they can to dismiss her claims and also to force her to bring a court action. And what I'm going to talk about is just some of the things they've done to delay, deny, and defend. One of the things they've done is Florida has a law that if there's an accident, it should be done, any court actions should be either where the plaintiff lives or where the accident occurred. Her insurance company tried to get her to go to an examination. It's a compulsory medical examination in Tampa, which is about an hour and a half away. Now, one might say, how can they do that? They don't have to follow Florida law, and they will do anything to make it difficult for a plaintiff who sues them. In fact, one of the things that they don't tell you is a lot of insurance companies don't follow through, don't record claims properly, and they do that intentionally because there's no time limit set for them. In order to get the claim, you really have to file an action against the insurance company. Now, Florida Farm Bureau Insurance has a lawyer who's been around for a long time. And at one of the meetings, he said, we don't have to follow the law because there's no court action. And as long as there's no court action, we have certain leeway as lawyers. Realize they're not being truthful, they have rules of professional conduct that they have to follow, and they don't really care because they're getting paid. So one of the things I have to talk about is insurance companies, lawyers, and also the medical profession, because all of them are fighting for money that should be going for medical care of someone who was in an accident. Now, one of the things that's come up is the idea of basically health care coverage for everyone. And the reason I would be for health care for everyone, although it's not what I consider best, is the single payer system means that the doctors are going to get paid, and they're going to get paid based on schedules that the government makes, not that hospitals make, because we all know that hospitals overcharge. And the reason they overcharge, and also doctors overcharge, is the reason they overcharge is that they can. And they know that if they didn't charge what they were charging, they'd get even less because the lawyers bargained with them to try to bring down their pay, and I can see why lawyers would do that. But the other thing that happens is the insurance companies don't want to pay the doctors, and their lawyers try to make sure that they don't. They can delay actions, but what happens is when they delay, the person who was in the accident and has a serious health problem, isn't getting the care they need. And when that happens, they can get on Medicaid, which is a public entitlement. And we, the public, effectively are helping to pay for insurance companies, hospitals, and doctors, and also lawyers. there has to be some way that we as the public tell our representatives, we don't like the job you're doing, and we want you to basically ensure that we get coverage for health care first. That's the primary thing. In any case, Florida Farm Bureau, after about 6 years, still hasn't paid medical costs for my friend. She needs basically an operation on her spine and neck because she was in a car accident, and the result was that her neck and her back were hurt, and she has separated discs. And Florida Farm Bureau refuses. First, they didn't want to set up a medical exam in Orlando where the accident occurred because there was no action. She didn't sue them. So you have a non-attorney now suing a billion-dollar company, Florida Farm Bureau Insurance, to try to get them to pay her doctor for the surgery. She's not trying to commit fraud, but I believe the insurance company is trying to commit fraud. Remember, the delay, deny, and defend. The longer they delay, the less they have to pay, because they're earning money on anything they would have to give out to pay for her injuries. Initially, they denied her claim, and that's another problem. The law as it's set up now doesn't require them to do and to pay in a certain time period. So they delay or they deny initially, and the person, then has to sue and get what she or he needs. The legal profession, lawyers, usually don't like to go up against large insurance companies because they know they're going to delay and deny, and the longer those insurance companies delay and deny, the more difficult it is for lawyers to get their money. And when lawyers take on cases, there's something called cost benefit. It means that they have to determine how much work they're going to have to put in to get an insurance company to pay their client for injuries that were suffered in an accident. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to leave it off, but I will once again say it's Florida Farm Bureau Insurance, and they have delayed by refusing claims, they've denied claims, and finally forced someone to bring an action in court. Realize judges can't always intervene on behalf of a party because we have an adversarial judicial system, which is something that we have to look at in some instances because people walk away from accidents still having injuries that haven't been taken care of, and effectively because the payments are so delayed, they are not getting the health care they need and may in fact go on Medicare and public assistance in order to get the money to pay for the treatments that they need. Thank you very much.